and welcome to everyone for joining our webinar today. As I mentioned, I'm joined here by our digital manager, Steve, and thank you really to all of you guys for joining us. We're really excited to unveil our all new PR tool today for ttgmedia.com, and that's the TTG Noticeboard. I'm not sure if some of you have seen the story that we ran this morning on the website. Just to explain what the concept of this is in a nutshell, it means that travel PRs and press officers will be able to upload their press releases and news updates onto a unique new section of ttgmedia.com. Now, this section is called the Noticeboard. It's going to sit on our homepage where it will be given due prominence, and you'll be shown it shortly so that you can see what it looks like. In a nutshell, really, for our readers, it means that our travel agent audience will have a new and a better way to stay on top of the latest updates from across the travel trade. For the TTG team itself, it means that the news guys can work on what they do best, which is putting an even greater focus on what the news means to our audience and spend more time sniffing out those top stories in the industry. We are going to have some strict guidance to follow for you all. Hopefully that will just really help you when you're uploading content. We're going to have rules around word count and image quality, simply because we know that overly long stories just don't get read. And of course, we don't want low-res images on our site, but we're going to make that all very, very clear to you. We are going to be quite firm about this guidance as well. Once releases are uploaded, they're going to be vetted by TTG editors, and those releases that breach the guidance will be rejected, but with constructive feedback, we promise. But today is all about making sure that that doesn't happen by explaining very clearly how to upload content, and we're going to explain what is and isn't permitted. In a second, I'm going to hand over to our digital manager, Steve, here, and he's going to share screen and run you through it all. And at the end, we're going to open it up to questions. So if any thoughts or comments or questions occur to you throughout, just pop them into the chat, and I will make a note of them all, and we'll come back to them at the end and address them all at the end. And we just want to run it through all in one go, if that's all right. But we'll make sure we come back to it, because I'm sure lots of you might have lots of questions. So Steve, I'm going to hand over to you to take it from here.
Hello, everybody. I'm just putting a link to a Google Doc in the chat here. And in that, you should see it'll be a list of all of the people who applied to get access to Noticeboard and the URL that you will use to get into it. So I'm going to share my screen now, so you'll see what I'm seeing. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so yours will look pretty similar, but it will have your name at the top as long as you're logged in as yourself. If you haven't got a TTG account or you need access to it, you can just email me. You can find my contact details on the site or through anybody in the team, basically, and I'll fix that up for you. But yeah, your page will look pretty similar to this, and you'll click through to your articles. You can see that I've got some test articles in here already. With different statuses, some which have been, there are 4 statuses. So one where it's in draft, where you've saved a version that you haven't saved yet, that you haven't submitted yet. One where you've submitted it to our moderators. One where it's been either approved or rejected. So those are the 4 statuses, and you can sort the articles in your repository by those 4 statuses as well. So, but today I'm just going to show you how to add one. So I've got. It's just a basic entry form, which you will have seen a bunch of different places. I've got a couple of test items here.
Oh, Steve, 1 second. The screen seems to have frozen. Oh, there we go. Back.
That's okay. Hang on, maybe I should share my entire screen instead. Let me try that.
We got it back.
Share desktop. Okay. How's that?
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
so this is just a Word document. You should be able to paste from pretty much any standard format. So I paste the title, the intro. You can see here I've put some guidance in the pink text. You can switch it off if you like, but I've left it on by default. Now we haven't put any maximum character limits in any of the fields, but we're planning to do that soon. These are really just for you to understand what we're expecting. If you, as Sophie said, if you go way over the limit, then we'll just see that straight away and it'll be rejected, but we'll tell you that's the case when it happens. And the main body, those are the 3 fields effectively: title, introduction, main body. It should maintain this this formatting. Please don't put any links in there because it will get rejected. And we've got a little image selector here. So I'm just going to select this one on my desktop. There is an image cropper tool, but if your image is already in the correct ratio, then you can just ignore that. Okay, but I'm going to use it because this is obviously a portrait image and we need ours to be 3:2. So I'm going to use this select crop, and it's created a little version of it, which you can see at the bottom here. So that's that done. The only other thing is you want to give it a topic or two. Obviously don't spam the topics. You can only, I think, select up to 5, but obviously just select the ones that are the most relevant. Let's just say that the cruise story. And you can save as a draft. And when you do that, you'll see a preview and it'll open in the same window. So you'll have to sort of flick backwards and forwards. There isn't a button here. I know that that's a usability issue. It'd be nice if you could scroll to the bottom here, say I'm happy with that, and then submit, but we don't have that yet. That will be coming down the line. So what you can do is, if you can see that this is fine and you want to submit it, you will have to go back. And again, into your articles, here's the one that I just saved, and then submit. And once you do that, you won't be able to edit the article any longer, because that will send it through our moderation process. At that point, I and other members of the team will receive an email saying that you submitted it. So then we'll look at it on the front end like this, and we'll moderate. So if it passes, it'll just be approved, and you'll get an email saying it will go up on the site shortly. If it is rejected, we'll give you one of a number of different reasons so that you've got some feedback, and then you can re-edit the item and resubmit it. But that will appear all in your repository, so in your article, on your article screen. So you can see there, that's the one that I just submitted. There's no button there for me to edit or delete it until it comes back from moderation. If it's approved, you can't edit it. And we did talk about this, that actually there will be cases where you might want to delete something that was approved somewhere down the line. If market conditions change, that's fair enough. We will be adding that, but it's not ready yet. So yeah, that's essentially the long and the short of it right for now. Is there any questions at this point?
Doesn't seem like we have any questions. If anyone has any thoughts or suggestions or comments. Oh, Emma Waddle has raised her hand. Emma, if you can just write your question into the chat, then we're not going to go to people individually. We just need you to put your question into the chat. I've put a message in, hopefully everyone can see that. It says, if anyone has any questions at all, do let us know. Just pop your questions into there. Hopefully Emma is typing it as we speak.
It's also possible you can absolutely do this right now. You can find your URL on this sheet here. So if you're Naomi McGee, for instance, you can go to this URL. If you're logged in, you will be able to see everything that I just did, and you will be able to submit articles right away.
I think you only shared that to host and panelists, that link. I don't think you shared it to everybody.
Aha. Everyone. Here we go. So that's the link in the chat for a Google Doc containing all the URLs.
Just while we wait for Emma's question, which hopefully she's going to write down, unless you didn't mean to raise your hand, Emma, in which case that's absolutely fine. We're just waving at you. Steve, could you show the panelists? Okay, here we go. We're in the Q&As. Oh, sorry. Okay, everyone's saying the chat is disabled. Apologies why that is. Okay, so question, will content only sit on the notice board section, or will it appear on the TTG homepage? Well, this might be good to show. Can you show, Steve, what that page will look like on the homepage?
Yeah. So we've mocked up on our test page. I'll go back to showing you this. If I go to, oh, I think it was a news test. This is a notional idea of how it might look. So we want to cram as much in as possible. There's a good chance that if there are lots of you using this at the same time, that there will be like a fast cascade of content. So we want to make sure that it all gets at least a little bit of oxygen.
Yeah. We did have images displayed here, but actually we can feature much more stories if we remove images from the homepage. That's why. If you guys have feedback, then let us know, but we think this is the more sensible way of doing it. Steve, would you mind just clicking on a story and showing how it presents, which is basically just like a TTG article?
Yeah, it looks just like one of ours. You have the share buttons up here. You can share by email or any of the socials. You can bookmark it. You can comment on it.
And the only difference is you'll see that pink square in the top right corner that just makes it very explicitly clear this content is not produced by TTG Media. It is uploaded directly by travel industry suppliers. So I hope that has answered the question. It says anonymous, so sorry, I don't know your name, but it says, will content only sit on the notice board section? So
no. So it will be posted by topic throughout the site. So there are many areas of the site that are, like for the topics channel, for instance. So if your piece is a hotels and resorts item, it's been tagged with that, then it will go into the category that it's tagged with.
We should caveat as well that the news team are going to be keeping a very, very close eye on all of this. If any stories slip through that seem to have particularly strong news angles, then the team are obviously going to follow that up just like they would normally. This is really just a way of making sure that content is constantly getting updated and the team aren't getting swamped with all the releases that come through. But like I say, strong news angles are still going to be looked at, checked at by the news team and followed up by the news team. So I hope that answers your question, Anonymous. Someone says, does Steve say no links in submitted stories? That is correct. We don't allow links in any TTG stories, actually, unless it's a link to a TTG story. So yeah, we're not having links on that. Steve, we have a reason, don't we, that we don't allow links? It's for various different.
Well, we want to keep traffic on our site in general, but yeah, it's just we can't moderate that at scale, I don't think. And this, I suspect this will quickly become quite a big job for us if there are lots of people using it. So we don't want people hyperlinking text because we'll have to click every link, check where it goes. So we're just gonna cut that out entirely. We can't stop you from doing it right now. We can only just reject when we see that there's a link in there. So we're just asking politely, please don't paste them in for now.
Yeah, and we will reject because, like I said, we're going to be really, really firm because I think we need to kind of set those boundaries quite early on. So apologies for that, but I hope you understand. Alice says, as PRs, should we now only upload releases to the notice board or should we still send important stories to the editorial team? Yes, please, still send your stories to the team. Like I say, you know, if there are interesting nuggets, particularly strong news angles, the team very much want to be aware of that. It will still appear on the notice board, but it will be that the news team would give it a slightly different angle. They will follow up with you. You say, how do we know which stories are ones we pitch and which we should just upload? Upload all your press release content into this area. But like I say, if you send it to the news team, then they will know to follow up with you if it's a story that they feel deserves, you know, them following it up and deserves a bit more space and time on the further up the TTG news site. Hope that answers your question, Alice. Let me know if you've got any other questions.
There's an anonymous question there about email contact links. We're just making that a blanket, any links. Please don't put any links in. And Jane asks if there's a notice board piece posted and then you discover there's an error. Yeah, at the moment, if it's been moderated, you won't be able to edit it. You will have to contact the team, but it should be like a 30-second fix for us. So until we enable you to re-edit pieces, you'll have to let us know.
We had from Anonymous, will stories be lifted from the notice board for the print magazine by the editorial team? Potentially, like I say, if there is that strong news angle, the team will follow up on that. And some of it may well make it into the magazine. This is really about freeing up the news team's time because, as you can imagine, we get inundated by a lot of press releases, which the trade we need to know. But we also want our team to do what they do best, which is getting those off-diary stories as well and doing those longer, deeper analytical pieces, which is what tends to go more into the magazine. But yeah, it certainly doesn't mean that it won't be appearing in the magazine. Hope that helps, Anonymous.
Jane? Yeah. Is there a maximum number of releases? There's a maximum in the system, which is 10,000, but that's not on a month. That's not for a month. That's for the entire duration. So that's just per account. That doesn't mean to say that you can't have multiple people at the same agency all posting from their own accounts. And that 10,000 figure may go up if we find that it's actually too small at a later date.
That was the yes. Okay, I'm just checking that we're answering them all to make sure I'm just going in order. James Peaslake, yes, you're saying about the links. Every now and then the PR might include a link that's quite important to the story. Just wanted to see if I heard correct, e.g. link equals rejection. Yes, you did hear correct, because we don't put any links in. So we never have links into a story. If you felt there was a special case for whatever reason, you could send us an email, but we really are not going to include links in stories. We don't do it anyway. So I can't think of any example where we would, unless it was particularly for a charity story or something. Like I say, if it's a special case, then do just drop us a line. But 99.9% of the time, we're not going to allow links in stories.
There's an anonymous question about including PR contact information on press release uploads. As we wouldn't generally include these on stories, no, we wouldn't want that to be included. Exactly that. Yep. Should we still be including TTG journalists sending releases over too? Yep, as we've stressed, Elise, it's exactly that. Send it to the team. The team still want to know, so do send it to our features editor, Catherine, if it's relevant. Make sure you send it to all of the news team. The news team's contacts are going to be on the guidance document that we're going to be uploading. So there's going to be a help video, so you can watch this again. And there's also going to be a guidance document stipulating the word count, the fact that we won't include links, guidance on images, and also all the details for the news team to make sure that you're still sending your contacts to them. Sarah, you've asked about links again, but we've answered that one, I think. There is a guidance document that we've put together, so that should answer most of the questions that you might occur to you first off, and we will update that obviously as they become more obvious questions. And that will be available. You'll be able to click that from, I think I should put it somewhere within the Noticeboard Manager user guide. So this up here is a link that will take you directly to a guide showing you the demo that I just showed you effectively, and some guidance on what to do and what not to do, and what will result in a rejection and what will result in a speedy publication. Yeah, we do have some frequently asked questions that we put in, which maybe it will be helpful if I run through. So we've got a question around, why does my content keep being rejected? So the kind of key bullet points that mean that content will be rejected is poor quality image. We're going to be really strict about that. Image incorrect dimensions. It's a 3:2 aspect ratio. You can use the image cropper. We've tried to make it as simple as possible, but obviously if you have feedback, do let us know. You'd get it rejected if the headline is too long, and that's simply following the guidance that we employ as a news team on the TTG website ourselves. We just know what content gets read and what doesn't get read. So this is very much for your benefit as well as for ours. And if the introduction is too long, if the main body is too long, we are going to be keeping an eye on all of that. Also, if copy is inappropriate or unsuitable for the trade. So remembering that we are a travel trade gazette, it has to be relevant content for our travel agent audience. If it's not relevant, we're not going to include it. So do be really mindful. This is not B2C, this is B2B. And I know all of you know that, but I just wanted to stress that because content will be rejected if it's not relevant. And also if the copy, of course, contains hyperlinks. There's also, we've wondered if, you might ask, if I don't have an image, can I still upload my story? Content always looks better with an image. It really, really does. It engages readers. We have typically longer dwell time on content that includes images. They are recommended, but they're not mandatory. But we would strongly, strongly recommend that you use them because they're always better. I think we've had some more questions, Steve, haven't we? Can you upload video content? Not as yet. It is possible to do that because this is effectively like a reduced set of tools that we use to publish articles. At the moment, you can't, but we may seek to introduce it at a later stage if we get a lot of requests for it, I guess, and this whole experiment goes smoothly. And actually on that, we are very much open to feedback. So you'll have seen that there's topics that we've tried to think of every relevant topic. We've kept them relatively broad. We don't want thousands of unique individual topics included, but if you think that there is something missing, do just let us know. And likewise, we're very open to overall feedback, aren't we, Steve? Yeah. We have trialed this with a number of PR contacts who have very kindly given us their thoughts, their feedback. And so we have done some tweaks already. But yeah, if you think that something glaringly obvious has been omitted that, we need to include or whatever to make it more simple to use, do let us know, because yeah, we want to make this as easy as possible for you guys to use. I mean, I will be on hand for the first few weeks of this running because everything needs to be pretty smooth, obviously. And after a while, I think you will get the hang of it, and I will get the hang of it, and we'll be much more plain sailing. But yeah, I'm always at the end of the phone if anybody needs me.
Yeah, and likewise, you can drop us all an email on the news team as well as myself, and if you have a question at all. I think we've answered all of the questions. If there are any questions, do just pop them in. Let me know if I think we've hopefully answered them. We've tried to think of questions that we've put in the frequently asked questions. Again, if we get a question that's frequently asked, we'll add that to the section. We really do just want this to be as simple as possible for you guys to use, because we think it's of such benefit to you as well as to our readers, and of course to our news team as well. But yeah, we want to hear your feedback. If anyone has thoughts, comments, let us know. I think we've answered all of the questions. I'm going through now. We had quite a few. I can't see any further ones. Can you, Steve?
No, the questions are going down. I guess people are just saying that it's been answered. Is that the way that it works?
I am answering them.
Oh, you're doing it.
But yeah, so in a nutshell, keep sending all of your releases to the team. That's really, really important. Don't use hyperlinks. Do use strong images, and just be really, really mindful of word count. I think those are the key points flag here. And just make sure you let us know any thoughts or feedback as we continue onwards. We have another question from Katie. How long from uploading to publishing?
Good question.
Very good question.
We'll get an email pretty much instantaneously once it's submitted. And assuming that we've got some bandwidth for a moderator to look at it and it looks all good, no links, there's an image in there, it hasn't exceeded the length, then it should be published pretty much straight away. I mean, I'd say the shortest it could be is 5 minutes, and the longest, I don't know, half an hour. I wouldn't expect it to be that long, but it just really depends what's happening in the office at any given time.
Yeah, but the idea is that it will be as speedy as we can be, because we know that speed is of the essence. You won't be using it otherwise. Yeah, we're mindful of that. I think that's all of the questions. If anybody does have any questions that we haven't addressed, or it suddenly occurs to you afterwards, do just drop us a line. Can everyone see the chat? Hopefully you can. I'll put my email in. Hopefully you've all got my email, but I'll pop it into the chat so everyone can see it. Just writing it down. So if you do have questions, do just drop me a line, and one of the guys will be back to you. We'll get back to you. But yeah, we'd love to know your thoughts. If anyone wants to let us know what they think, do drop us a line. But hopefully this will be a really great addition to the site and really helpful for you guys.
Any feedback, even if it seems trivial, is usually quite important.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, Charlotte says, thanks, great addition. We'll take that feedback. That's the feedback we like. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. As we said, we are recording this, so we are going to send it around to everyone so that you can all see it again. Like we said, there'll be a help video on the website, so you can use that as well as the guidance document. Yeah, and great. Get using it, guys, because this is, it's only going to work with all of you using it. So
and we'll wait for your first submission.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks very much for your time, everyone. And yeah, drop us a line if you have any further feedback at all.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Bye.